Boardman.
Mr. Mayor, please call roll.
Ms. Knapp?
Here.
Mr. Rivers?
Here.
Mr. Taranto?
Here.
This has been a very difficult past couple of days for Orange Township with the passing of firefighter Trevor Murphy last Friday. And on behalf of the board, I want to express our deepest condolences to the Murphy family and to our firefighters. I would like to ask for a moment of silence in remembrance of Trevor Murphy. Thank you. To open our meeting tonight, I would like to welcome the Weeblos of Pack 139 and Den leaders Bruce and Melody Nell. They will be opening the meeting with a flag ceremony.
Everybody can rise. Scouts, present colors.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The staff vote.
On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to guide my country and to make the outlaw.
The staff vote.
This guy is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent.
You want us to put a bomb in the back?
Yeah.
We'll move us out or move us in?
I think if you come and out. There you go. Perfect. One, two, three. One more. One, two, three. Together. We're all together, one group. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
That's okay. Yeah. I swear to God.
Lisa, would you mind sending me one of the photos?
Do we have any agenda changes?
I have one. It's noted on the front page of the template. I'd like to make it under number 9. I'd like to make it the first item, so make that A. And then I'll re-letter the other items.
I'm sorry, Wes, which one are you removing?
On the front page of the template, it's the addition of a possible action regarding waiving cemetery costs. And on number 9, and I wanted to do it first, so it would be A.
Under,
I think it was 9, under the fiscal office report. Yeah, on the agenda, it's number 9.
Anything else? I would like to add B under park report, and I had told Mr. Cowan I would add this and did not. This is my fault. B, discussion and possible action regarding FortiClean. And then for what is it? Old business item B, we will have a guest here when he arrives. I will ask that we move that up in the meeting schedule, as well as our executive session when our other parties arrive.
What is that? What is that under?
Old business 11B.
And who is it?
It is the owner of Biden Drone.
He's here.
Oh, there. Mine is here. Well, we'll move him up to the beginning. And that is all that I have.
I have a few, Mr. Chairman. The board's permission. Under item 8, public service report, removal of item H, which is the discussion and possible action regarding transferring sick time hours. Please remove that. Under item 10, administrative report. Item B, discussion and possible action concerning the electric aggregation agreement and Trebell LLC. We will remove that. Item C, discussion and possible action concerning the front office renovations project. Asking that that be tabled. And under item 12, new business, adding an update on the April 13th Township electronic recycling event. That is all the changes I have noted, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Do we have any other changes? With that, I would like to get to our somewhat of a presenter tonight. I don't know, did you speak with Michelle as far as the video? Okay. If you can come up to the podium and just give us your name and information just as a refresher from last time.
Thank you guys for letting me be. My name is Divya. I'm the CEO of Paladin Drones. I was here, I believe, a couple of months ago, pitching an idea about an autonomous response drone program, where as soon as a 911 call is received, for firefighters or for police, a drone would be dispatched on scene immediately, so that the officers and the firefighters have a better idea of the situation they're in. So we've been developing our technology in conjunction with Fire Chief Noble, and we're here today to make basically a final presentation. Thank you, Ryan, for Trustee Rivers for having me.
And Divvy's had quite the adventure in getting here.
Yeah.
I can tell you that in the last few days.
So this is a quick promo video to work of the software basically in action. Alright, so the way our, do you mind if I present to everybody here?
You sure can.
So the software that we've developed hooks into a firefighter's or police dispatch center. So as soon as they get a 911 call, thank you. As soon as they get
It's recording, but there's no speaker.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
For sure. So our software allows a CAD system to send us the location of any 911 call. And we get that location through the permission of either the fire chief or the chief of police. And as soon as we have that information, our software autonomously dispatches the drone to the location. So the 911 call is received, and the drone, which is usually standing outside a fire station or a police station, autonomously takes off. There's always a pilot on scene. It takes off to the scene, and then the drone arrives on scene once it's there. And once it's actually there, in the case of an emergency, such as a fire or a possible burglary or any other emergency event, the drone starts live streaming exactly what it sees back to the officers. So, for example, in this case, we were actually in New Albany, and we were doing a bit of a test drill, trying to see if the drone could figure out exactly where a smokestack might be coming from for a burning building. And this is video footage straight from the drone. And basically, through this overhead view, officers are able to pull up the stream while they are en route and soak in the dispatchers, and now they have just that much more information. Over here, there's a fire in San Jose in California, and we were able to tell the responders exactly where to go. In the case of car accidents, the drone can locate it in about 2 minutes, where usually it would take much longer. And once the drone is done, it autonomously heads back to the fire station and lands. Thank you.
And just take a step back. This was planned as a joint presentation tonight with Chief Noble and Diddy. Obviously, I don't need to go into detail as far as Chief Noble not being here, but we asked how he wanted to proceed, and he wanted Dibby to be here tonight and present and to move forward. So, when Dibby was here, what was that, 2 months ago?
Around 2 months ago.
2 months ago, I thought, this is really a chance to be a trailblazer and to embrace technology. I spoke with Chief Noble. He's worked with Dibby for over 2 years. I believe in looking at the possibilities. I reached out to our County Emergency Communications Director, Patrick Brandt. The county is very, very interested in this technology, and is something that we'd love to see a pilot program done, and see the possibility of this becoming a county-wide thing. So we have the opportunity here to be the ones that are the pilot program and can bring this to our community. I'll let Debbie speak about the possibilities of working with students and making this a community project. And I will tell you that in our appropriations for this year, Chief Noble did appropriate the required money for the pilot program, so it has been budgeted and is there to move forward with this.
Sweet. Thanks, Ryan. So, like I said, our core technology is providing officers and firefighters information before they arrive on scene. And I've been working very closely with Chief Noble to figure out exactly what requirements this software needs to have. And we actually just launched our first city about a month ago in Houston. So now we're hoping to move from Houston now here into Columbus, where we're from. And what we also want to do is, should this be approved, is work with high schoolers such as Owen Tenji, and I've already been in contact with the principal there, where we would like to train high school students to become drone pilots. As per our program, we have to have a pilot on duty at all times, and that's a cost that we incur no matter what. But we wanted to find a way to basically bring better drone awareness and find a way to bring high school students into our cutting-edge technology. So should this get passed, what we'd like to do is not only be deploying to 911 calls, but working closely with the high schools to basically provide a certification class for drone pilots. And we'll be hopefully taking some of those certified students to work with us as summer interns throughout this pilot project. The idea is, again, to just kind of bring a bit more community collectiveness through this. So not only does Lewis Center have leading edge technology, we're also trying to build a foundation where other students are encouraged to pursue similar ideas and similar innovations.
And Divya has also reached out to the Delaware Career Center, who would very much like to be a part of this and can host classes. So as he touched on, the funding for this majority is for labor, and that labor will be for students and will give them the ability to get licensed as drone pilots. So I just see this as a unique opportunity. Obviously, we value our public safety. It's embracing technology and an educational tool as well.
What was the cost originally that we had discussed when you were here a few months ago?
The cost we discussed was $10,000 for a 3-month pilot program.
$10,000. So you're talking about just the pilot program right now?
Yes. So what Chief Noble had budgeted for was the $10,000, be a 90-day pilot program. but we'll be in partnership with schools in Delaware, Montague schools, and Delaware Career Center. And the majority of that cost is labor. Once the pilot program is done, we will then take the results to Delaware County and look at the next step, and if there's an opportunity there to move forward with a permanent program.
And I know when you were here originally, and I suggested that you discuss this with people up in Delaware County. And I did talk to some of them, and they were very interested, and then you were in touch with them. Are they not interested in doing a pilot program?
So I reached out specifically to Chief Noble because I've been working with him over the past 2 years, and I just felt more comfortable sort of bringing this to a community where I felt I could be just more effective, and because I grew up here, figured that this was the most natural choice. That being said, as this pilot program starts, if it starts, I will be in very close communication with the rest of the county because our goal is, again, to make this county-wide. This just seemed like a really good starting spot.
Mm-hmm. And that was what Mr. Brandt had shared with me, is it would be great to see a township embrace this. It's a great opportunity, pilot program, and then bring that to us, and we'll look at really, because it's not would require some real funding. So it's just for us to pilot it, and then with the real heavy lifting when it comes to funding, we can bring those results to the county and see what it's going to take to make this a real program, permanent program.
Right, because I had discussed the police may be interested in the sheriff because of the number of situations that they have. They have thousands of situations up there.
Yeah, definitely. I actually took your advice to heart when we started in Houston. It's actually with a police department.
Okay.
So I think just as of 2 days ago, while the drone was being deployed, there was a call for a burglary. Somebody had tried to basically steal a car. Drone was on scene in about 30 seconds, and we could see the basically suspect running away from the car as soon as he heard the drone coming in. So we've been having some pretty immediate effects already in the realm of police. And over the summer, we've been helping. Over the summer, we tested exclusively with firefighters. So we already have a lot of data on how to be extremely useful for medical emergencies, for fire emergencies, so on and so forth.
There is some filings that need to take place that take some time. Ideally, this would be a summer project. So that was as far as having Dibby here tonight and trying to put a lot of this together. The last minute, there is some sensitivity as far as time. And like I said, Dibby traveled through coast to coast, I think, and then back to
Coast to
the last 72 hours.
Yeah, I was in San Francisco over the weekend, and I flew in. I had a connecting flight in Chicago, but all the flights got grounded because of the storm. So I was stuck in St. Louis for about 8 hours before I decided that there was no way the airport was going to open again. So I took a car from St. Louis to Chicago, where my parents were, and we drove again and got here about this morning. So it's been a bit of a trip.
So Chief Noble and I had discussed, because we didn't think we'd have this done in time to get a consensus to move forward tonight. However, the prosecutor's office did approve the contract and did send over a resolution this afternoon. So I do have it with me if we wish to move forward and approve tonight. Due to the timing of it, I think if we are going to move forward, we do need to make that decision.
Well, this was just placed on the agenda tonight, so I've had no opportunity to look into this, and I want to read the contract and get some opinions.
It sounds also like you would have had the contract already if Mark Fowler has it.
Well, no, I have the contract. He sent over to approve it. Like I said, it was last minute. We weren't sure if we'd have it in time tonight. We did approve it. It was late getting to me, but did approve it today.
I'd like to wait to the next meeting to discuss this further.
Trustee Kramer?
So it's 10,000 is our contribution,
Yes, and Chief
and
Noble
that's for 3 months.
did budget for it.
Strictly a pilot program, correct?
Correct.
Are we paying for the entire thing, or how does it work with the students, or?
So the $10,000 is to cover one certification for the township to start a drone program. And that's something you need to go through the FAA. If you guys look at the contract, it's kind of outlined there. And then the rest of the money is actually just to basically pay students once we hire them as interns.
So the $10,000 is for what?
It's one for certification for the township.
It's
So that-
$10,000 just for the certification.
That's part of it. That's about $4,500, and the rest of the money will be going towards paying students. The drones themselves cost much more than that, so we're not really charging the township for the services. It's more for the labor and the certification.
Where will it be based out of, the drone?
It will be based off of the main fire station. I actually talked with Chief Noble this morning, met with him around noon, and the drone will be stationed right outside the main fire station, and he's willing to give us access to the station while we're deploying, so that we may just sit down, try to interact with the firefighters, figure out what they want added to the product, what changes need to be made.
Are there any legal concerns by the trustees about any of this?
Mr.
Access or students, or I feel like I'm just finding out about this.
I
Just
feel like I had a different conversation with Chief Noble too, so I am taking a little surprise.
Members of the board, one thing that I would recommend is that we check with our insurer to make sure that their liability issues are not a concern. If a drone goes out of control or lands on a car.
or if they're working on behalf of.
Yeah. So we
Is
just
it
want to make sure that
protected?
it's
Can it be
insured.
stolen?
Yeah, so we have our own insurance. We actually worked this out with the county prosecutor to make sure that the current, the proper indemnification and insurance cases are put into place into the contract. So contractually, we have our own insurance for anything that the drone does. It's a general liability and damages in case the drone malfunctions and lands on something.
How long have you been working with the prosecutor on this?
Prosecutor, I believe, about a month and a half now.
Oh, wow, it's the first we've heard of this, so.
It was, well, it was sent, he sent the original contract and it sat for a little while as far as the response.
So why wasn't this placed on the agenda then?
When there wasn't an approval, first we want to make sure that as far as liability concerns, the questions that you're asking, there weren't any red flags that would prevent this from moving forward. So it took some time to go through everything and to make sure there were no concerns.
Without informing the other trustees?
So it was placed on the agenda. It was placed on the agenda once we were given notice
Today?
that there wasn't any concerns, and obviously we came to 90%.
Right, I'm gonna look through the contract and I have some legal questions and liability questions. I wanna talk to Chief as well. Where's the contract at? Do you have more than one copy?
I'll get some copies of that.
I'll give you one. And do we have the prosecutor's information regarding the insurance?
Sorry, say that again?
Do we have the prosecutor's confirmation with the insurance?
It's written into the contract. I'm not sure what you meant by it.
You said that you've confirmed that you have independent insurance. You have proof of coverage of that.
We can provide that if needed, yes.
I would like to wait till the next meeting, please, so we can vet this.
And this isn't your fault. I mean, you've been involved for a month and a half, as you stated. But we do need the time to be able to review it, and it was kind of a bit of a surprise. So I apologize that it needs a quick turnaround, but I think we can get this on the next agenda.
Okay, for sure.
Sure can.
Sure. Can you just give your name and address, please?
Are you referring to the certification for the township or the high school?
For the students who are training to use it, if you want one person.
Yeah. So the current agreement with the high schools, at least just verbally, has been that we'll host a class. We'll try to take as many students as possible and basically teach them how to get certified and then have them take the test at the end of the course. So that's multiple people. And then if we find high schoolers who are just really into the technology and feel like we can work with them, we'll be taking a few of them as high school interns.
What are the costs to you as far as the certification and filings to get moving forward?
So just for the certification, as I said earlier, the certification for the township is about $4.5K, and that's just through the FAA. and working with people who know how to file that. And the rest goes to the labor costs. For us, like as a company, the drone itself is much more expensive than that. Thermal camera, a lot of batteries, and that doesn't include our own software cost on top of that. So the idea was to present this as, again, just a pure pilot program, get a lot of information, a lot of data, and use that to present it to the county.
And how long filing process? How long can that take?
The filing process can take at least a month, if not 3. So it's a matter of trying to get that in as soon as possible, which is why, again, we wanted to have a quick turnaround.
So,
Yeah.
if as far as the liability and legal concerns, if those are addressed and everyone's comfortable with those, this is something though that we have an interest in pursuing, provided the information comes back with no major concerns.
Do you have a card by any chance?
Yeah, or actually, I believe I just gave out my last one. I have one. If not, Trustee, you're going to have my information as well.
I just want to look into it more. So it would just be for 3 months, and then what would happen after that?
After 3 months, we would like to either take this to the county or maybe come back here and have discussions separately about pursuing the full-fledged year-long program.
Do you know how many structural fires that we have every year?
I don't have the number off the top of my head, but we don't always. The structural fires, in general, are a very small subset of 911 calls that firefighters respond to. And that's not all that we look for. That's where the drone has been the most useful because you can clearly see the fire. But in a lot of other events, such as even medical emergencies, which are the majority of calls, having that drone overhead and having a view of the traffic conditions surrounding the specific house or building actually helps these EMS workers just navigate a little bit differently.
So you'll be working with the county on EMS?
Yeah, so everything that at the very least that the fire department responds to, which includes EMS calls, we will be responding to as well.
Okay, because the county also has their own separate EMS that responds to Orange Township, or is this just for the fire department?
So when I was speaking with Chief Nobit, he told me that it would be kind of a mix of both, I believe. So obviously, for sure, the fire department we will be responding to, and usually the fire department is dispatched along those EMS calls. So we'll be helping out there as well.
And will there be video taken of the scene?
Yeah. So
That's a video, right?
it is a video.
So would that be public record?
If required by state law, yes. All of our videos are saved to be available for review at any moment.
And do they stay at the scene while the emergency is ongoing?
Yeah, so they stay on the scene until we receive confirmation for the drone to head back, and we work with basically whoever is the commanding officer at the time of the incident to receive confirmation.
Do you go to traffic accidents?
We do, yes.
So potentially a very traumatic accident could be public record of people who are upset and injured. That could be public record.
Potentially. However, the video footage from the drone, it's very difficult to discern individual people in those events. It's more a direct situational awareness.
How high up are the drones?
The drones are at no lower than 200 feet.
And I believe last time Divvy was here after Mr. Bodnar had sent his proposal and information, so I think we should have Divvy's info to contact him.
Oh, we have it here. Yeah. I'm just concerned. I was originally wanting this for police with the situations where, especially in Delaware, with police where they respond to emergencies and they don't know what's happening at the scene, and you know, someone's in a building or there's hostages or all kinds of things that have happened recently with police, and those kind of situations where there are already video cameras of the events being taken or body camera. So I just want to think about this just a little bit more.
For sure.
Do we have any other questions?
Not right now. Thanks.
Thank you guys.
Thank you very much.
I'll keep in touch.
It's very
Hopefully
exciting.
we'll be back in 2 weeks, I believe, will be the next meeting. Yeah.
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
3.
It's the 6th, I believe.
All right, well, hey, thank you guys so much for your time.
It's at 10 a.m. It's in the morning, yeah.
I see.
Next meeting.
Would you guys like me to be here then as well?
No, I don't make you travel anymore, David. Well, we appreciate
Well,
it.
I mean, I can come in and answer questions, and you guys have to let me know as well.
Yeah.
And we can always,
You don't have
we
to
can
be here
always
necessarily.
remove you in for the meeting as well.
For sure.
You're tech savvy enough that,
Hopefully.
All right. Thank you.
All right, thank you guys so
Thank
much.
you.
thank you. All right, next on the agenda, we have our approval of minutes. Do we have any changes?
I have none.
I have none.
I make the motion to approve the March 18th, 2019 regular trustee meeting minutes as presented.
Second?
Ms. Rivers,
Yes.
Ms. Knapp,
Yes.
Ms. Taranto,
Yes.
I make the motion to approve the April 1st, 2019 regular trustee meeting minutes as presented.
Second?
Mr. Rivers,
Yes.
Ms. Knapp,
Yes.
Ms. Taranto,
Yes.
Ms. Bonnie, zoning report?
Yes, good evening. Our next meeting is this Thursday on the 14th for the Board of Zoning Appeals. We now have 4 applications being heard as to the table. The first is for a deck variance over at Sanctuary Lakes. The next one is for home occupation in Food Center Village. And the last one is a temporary sign of interest variance request. Next, on Wednesday, April 24th at 6:30, the PCA will be hearing an appeal application for the Township food store issuance of the commercial zoning permit. Following that, on Tuesday, May 7th at 7 p.m., we have to finalize the Portuguese application number 0-19-01, the old white property that will be heard that evening. And then the last thing on my zoning report is my next item on the agenda is to schedule a hearing for the trustees for the zoning amendments. The zoning commission recommended unanimously approval at their April 2nd, 2019 meeting for the zoning resolution amendments proposed as discussed in the motion that I provided to all. They were fairly minor amendments, but this is something that we've been going to work on for quite some time, so I asked you to schedule a time for that hearing.
Which one is that, the amendment? Has this been controversial at all?
No, it hasn't. There was some really good discussion. I think what Mr. McCarthy and I put together, there were a few tweaks from there, but overall it was very, everyone was on the same page.
Could we just put it on?
Cleaning up some items that have been.
I would just put this in the next meeting. I guess it would have to be. Was it within 30 days of the approval?
I mean, we don't have an applicant in place, so.
But I think by law, I think your trustees have to schedule.
You are, it's not,
What is
it
it?
doesn't affect the validity, but you become subject to a mandamus action.
Okay. 30 days within zoning date of approval, or the day we get the minutes, or the day today, 30 days from today.
I was just gonna say that, Ms. Bonnie, you delivering that to them tonight, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so 30 days from today.
Okay, so do we want to say May 6th?
Yeah.
May 6th at 10 a.m.?
Sure.
I make the motion to hold the zoning hearing regarding zoning resolution amendments on May 6, 2019 at 10 a.m. at Township Hall.
Second.
Mr. Rivers,
Yes.
Ms. Knapp,
Yes.
Ms. Taranto,
Yes.
All right.
That's all I have.
Thank you. I'm going to make the motion now to go into executive session to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official, or the investigation of charges or complaints against a public employee, official, licensee, or regulated individual, unless the public employee, official, licensee, or regulated individual requests a public hearing, and to prepare for, conduct, or review negotiations or bargaining sessions with public employees concerning the compensation of their employment.
Second.
Mr. Rivers,
Yes.
Ms. Knapp,
Yes.
Ms. Taranto,
Yes.
The following are invited to attend: Mr. Mark Duell, Mr. Bodnar, Ms. Michelle Bonney, Miss Amanda Shedderome, and Mr. McCarthy. I'm going to ask that Mr. Dool and Mr. Bodnar first begin executive session, and I will call on the others